The Las Cruces community is mourning the loss of 3 of the victims who died and the more than a dozen others who were injured in Friday's mass shooting. Thanks for joining us, New Mexico. I'm Zach Rael. A prayer visual took place this evening. As the community comes together, police are still continuing their investigation, and we have some major updates for you tonight. Police say that they have arrested 4 people, including teenagers. We are also learning more about the 3 young men who lost their lives. First, Las Cruces police say a 15-year-old, 2 17-year-olds, and 20-year-old Thomas Rivas were all arrested today in connection to the shooting. Rivas is now charged with 3 counts of open murder, and more charges are pending. He is currently being held at the Doña Ana County Detention Center. As for the underage suspects, they are in custody at the juvenile detention facility in Doña Ana County. Police have not identified them because they are minors, but we know they are also facing 3 counts of murder and have additional charges pending as well. Tonight, we're also learning more about the young victims who were killed. Police have identified them as 16-year-old Andrew Madrid, 18-year-old Jason Gomez, and 19-year-old Dominic Estrada. We also know more than a dozen others were injured in the chaos, and tonight, for the first time, we are hearing from one of the victims who was shot in the crossfire and survived. Monica Logroño joins us now live from Las Cruces. Monica, you have been there all day checking in with the community. How are they doing?
Well, Zach, for many of us, what began as a heavy day has just become a heavy weekend. And unfortunately, it's a feeling that's sure to continue as the community continues to mourn the loss of the 3 young lives cut short. And for the families of the 15 victims who survived, they're holding each other a bit closer tonight and counting themselves lucky.
What started as a night of hanging out and looking at cars quickly turned to chaos.
We just saw everyone running around, but we didn't know why, so we started running around. First, when we heard the shots, we thought it was the cars.
Natalie Nieto was with her siblings at Young Park when bullets began flying Friday night.
As soon as I tried to look back for my little brother, that's when I just fell down. Because I didn't even feel the bullet, I just fell down and I didn't know why. And until I saw another girl fall in front of me.
But as her oldest brother tried to get to her,
he was trying to come back to come get me, and then he got ran over. And
luckily, he was okay. But for Natalie, at first, she didn't realize what happened until she tried getting up.
And that's when he came and picked me up. And then that's when I found out that I had gotten shot, because he tried to pull me up, but I couldn't get up.
The bullet hit Natalie's back, missing all of her vital organs.
Yeah, they just told me that I was lucky. That the bullet just went around my stomach, like it didn't go like straight through, it just went around.
Her siblings rushed her to the car and drove her to the hospital.
Like I couldn't breathe, and then while I was in the car, that's when I started feeling it.
But in the chaos, some of the siblings got separated, leaving Natalie's mother, Yuriana Ortiz, in a frenzy, not knowing where to go.
It was too much. It was too much to try to process at once.
She says it was hours before she could finally see her daughter. The waiting was excruciating.
Up until I think I saw her at 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning, and that was because a social worker she's like, she really needs you inside.
Since the news of Friday's mass shooting came to light, some have criticized the 200 people who came out for what Las Cruces police called an unsanctioned car show.
Seeing these people commenting stupid things that doesn't make sense, because I mean, my kids, I see them there. They were not intoxicated.
Yuriana says her kids are traumatized. And as for Natalie, she recognizes the reality likely hasn't hit her yet.
Sometimes I forget I got shot. So I try to do things by myself, and then I just feel the pain, so I'm like, oh, never mind.
But as she continues to heal, the fact that she survived it all just brings one word to mind for both her and her mother.
Blessed.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Blessed.
Now, Natalie actually still has the bullet inside of her. Doctors told her that it was safer that way. She has to remain bedridden for the next 2 weeks and then check in with her doctor. But as she heals, she told me that she can lean on her family, and her family can lean on her as they not only heal physically, but mentally as well. Live in Las Cruces, Monica Logroño, KOB4.
Amazing to see that she's already recovering at home. Monica, we appreciate your reporting tonight. We are also learning more about some of the young victims who lost their lives, including the youngest, 16-year-old Andrew Adrian Madrid. He was a student at Centennial High School in Las Cruces and on the baseball team. We spoke with his coach about the type of player and person Madrid was.
We're a tight team, you know, and AJ was definitely definitely loved.
Head coach for Centennial High School baseball, Rusty Evans, says A.J. Madrid was one of his hardest working and passionate players who loved the game.
He played hard. His uniform was always dirty.
16-year-old Madrid was a sophomore and played JV shortstop for the Hawks.
I wouldn't put any limits on what A.J. wanted to do.
Madrid's young life cut short Friday night. It's believed he was caught in the crossfire of bullets as a fight broke out between two groups at a car meetup at Young Park.
The majority of people there were there to have a good time and hang out.
Evans says they are canceling Monday's JV baseball game out of respect and to give his teammates more time to mourn the loss of one of their own.
We'll get through it together. We're all going through it.
And earlier today, Congressman Gabe Vasquez, whose district is part of Las Cruces, held a press conference expressing his concerns.
We need to know how this happened, what signs were missed, and how we can close those gaps that allowed this violence to unfold. That's not finger pointing. We have to know our kids are safe when they leave their house.
All of this is getting a lot of conversation started. Yesterday, we know, was the last day of the legislative session, and Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is not holding back her frustrations with state lawmakers over the lack of juvenile justice reform over the last 2 months, calling their inaction appalling and unacceptable. The tragedy in Las Cruces happened just hours before the 60-day session wrapped up in Santa Fe. Our state lawmakers did spend their final hours at the Roundhouse getting more bills up to the governor's desk before adjourning and heading back home. But as Griffin Rushton is about to explain, they may have to return to Santa Fe sooner than expected.
House has adjourned. Sine die.
And with the strike of that gavel, the 2025 legislative session came to an end Saturday afternoon. New Mexico state lawmakers brought well over 1,000 bills to the Roundhouse this year, and roughly 200 of those proposals made it up to the governor's desk. And while there are certainly big initiatives to celebrate, like CYFD oversight, universal free child care, and behavioral health reform, there is a dark shadow looming over state lawmakers.
They promised a lot more in this session on public safety, and that includes, or certainly should, the crisis of juvenile crime. They did not.
Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is not holding back her frustrations with state lawmakers over the lack of juvenile justice reform during the 60-day session.
There was not a single productive debate on reducing juvenile crime. Not one.
Republican leaders share her frustrations, blaming Democratic lawmakers for not doing more after getting a bipartisan public safety package across the finish line.
They merely wanted to deceive New Mexicans that they took action to address public safety without actually holding repeat criminals and violent juveniles accountable.
But Democratic lawmakers are firing back at Republicans for killing a juvenile crime-focused bill at the last minute.
And quite frankly, I was surprised that the minority party messaged the need to do juvenile crime and then all voted against the bill that was there as a first step.
Democratic leaders argued their CYFD reform bills are one way of addressing juvenile crime.
You cannot talk about juvenile crime without ensuring that this state steps up and shows up for those children who are in situations where they are struggling.
But it seems that won't cut it. The governor told lawmakers in a statement to expect a special session to address juvenile crime, and Republican lawmakers sent her a letter demanding one.
I don't know how you don't expect it. The longer we wait, the more victims we have. How is anyone putting up with that?